For 3 years, if you wanted the ultimate high-resolution camera in a smartphone, the Ultra experience, you had one choice: Samsung. Their 200-megapixel ISO-cell sensors have completely monopolized the flagship market. They defined what a modern flagship camera looks like. But the monopoly is officially over. Sony has finally entered the chat, and they didn't just copy Samsung's homework. They built a monster. Meet the LYTA901. It's Sony's first 200-megapixel sensor, and it is physically challenging the laws of what can fit inside a phone. Today, we are diving deep into the silicon war. It's not just about megapixel counts anymore. It's a battle between Samsung's modular ecosystem and Sony's main camera supremacy. We're comparing pixel sizes, AI integration, and the physics of light. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly whose camera technology will rule the next generation of smartphones. Let's fight. Let's start with the hardware, because in photography, physics usually wins. Samsung's current champion, the ISOCELL HP2 found in the S24 Ultra, is a 1.13-inch sensor. It's big, it's balanced, and it fits neatly into a phone. But Sony's LYT901? It's massive! It's a 1.112-inch sensor. That might sound like a small difference in numbers, but in the semiconductor world, that is dangerously close to the legendary 1-inch type sensors. Here's why this matters to your photos. It comes down to the pixels. Samsung uses 0.6 micron pixels. Sony uses 0.7 micron pixels. Again, sounds small, right? But do the math. That seemingly tiny difference gives Sony a 36% larger surface area per pixel. 36% more light gathering capability. Native, before any software magic touches the image. This means less noise in the shadows and cleaner shots at night without the phone having to guess what the scene looks like. Now, Samsung isn't taking this lying down. They know their pixels are smaller, so they use advanced material science like high refractive microlenses and dual vertical transfer gates to force more light into those smaller buckets. It's brilliant engineering. But Sony is banking on the fact that nothing beats raw physical size. But hardware is only half the story. The real revolution with the LYT901 is where the thinking happens. Traditionally, a sensor captures raw data and sends it to your phone's main processor, the Snapdragon or MediaTek chip. This takes time. It consumes bandwidth. It causes heat. Sony has done something radical. They put the AI on the sensor. The LYT901 has a dedicated logic layer with AI circuits built right into the silicon stack. Why should you care? 2 words: viewfinder experience. Have you ever zoomed into 4x on your phone and the screen looks grainy and awful, but then you take the picture and the gallery version looks sharp? That's because the processing happens after the shot. With Sony's on-sensor AI, the sensor re-mosaics the image in real time. That means when you zoom to 4x in the app, what you see is actually that sharp, high-definition image. No more guessing. This also impacts dynamic range. Sony is using hybrid frame HDR. It combines dual conversion gain with super fast short exposures to get over 100 decibels of dynamic range. Because the processing is so fast and local, it minimizes those weird ghosting artifacts you see when taking HDR photos of moving subjects. So Sony wins the main camera battle? Maybe. But Samsung has a secret weapon that proves they are playing a completely different game. It's called the ISOCELL HP9. While Sony is obsessed with making the main camera perfect, Samsung is revolutionizing the zoom camera. The HP9 is the world's first 200-megapixel sensor designed specifically for telephoto lenses. This thing is a 1.14-inch. That is bigger than the main camera on a standard iPhone. And Samsung is putting it behind a zoom lens. Here is the genius part. By using a 3x optical lens with this massive 200-megapixel sensor, they can crop into the sensor to give you a 12x zoom that is lossless. They don't need a separate 10x lens anymore. They just use the sheared pixel density of the HP9 to capture detail that digital upscaling simply cannot match. This creates a fascinating split in the market. Sony's philosophy is put the best possible sensor in the main slot and crop from there. Samsung's philosophy is build a modular ecosystem where every lens is a powerhouse. Quickly touching on video, because this is YouTube after all, both sensors can do 8K 30 FPS and 4K 120 FPS. But Sony's on-sensor AI pulls ahead here again. It allows for 4x zoom in 4K video that maintains optical quality. For vloggers, this is a dream. You can punch in on your face without the footage turning into pixelated mush. So, who is going to use what? Expect the Samsung Galaxy S25 or S26 Ultra to stick with the ISOCELL HP2 or an updated version. They value the vertical integration. But watch out for the camera phone kings like Vivo and Oppo. They are the prime candidates for the LYT 901. They want that 1-inch type bragging right. Here is the verdict. If you want the absolute most versatile zoom system, Samsung's ecosystem, in particular that HP9 telephoto, is the undisputed king. But if you are a purist, if you want the best possible image quality from your main lens with the best physics and the lowest latency, Sony has just set a new benchmark. The megapixel war isn't about the number 200 anymore. It's about whether you prefer Samsung's clever versatility or Sony's brute force physics. Which team are you on? Would you rather have one massive main sensor that does everything, or specialized huge sensors for every lens? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the tech that powers your life. Catch you in the next one.